That's me. That's everyone. Welcome back to Wormhole Extremists. My name is David Reed. I'm with Evie and Nicole. How you guys doing?
Hello, hello.
Hi, good. I see you joined us both into the same introduction because we've got a lot of stuff to deal with today.
There's a lot going on here. This is a big episode because of
It
the
is.
episodes that we're covering. Heroes parts one and two. It's gonna be a little bit more somber throughout the whole thing. I suspect. I'm not entirely positive, but
Oh, you know what? I do want to say that I met Saul Rubinek, who's obviously the
Saul.
journalist. Yeah.
hmm
And I absolutely love him. And I met him at Comic Con when I was about 15. And I remember I was like, oh, I loved you in
Oh,
Stargate and like Warehouse 13. And then he was like, wait, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 15. And he was going on about, he was like, Eddie, I have a 15-year-old fan. Because I guess like, he's like, I'm old.
oh, that's so cute.
And
absolutely. I didn't know
he
you'd
was
met
like,
him.
yeah, and he was like, "Do you want a Stargate autograph?" And I was like, "No, no, Warehouse 13 is your show, but I want you to know that, that episode is absolute magic, and
Yeah,
your chemistry with everyone was so funny,
yeah,
and yeah, it was
that's
lovely. He's
great.
genuinely such a nice guy,
Oh,
and he was
oh,
great
so
in Schitt's Creek as well.
I've not seen it yet,
So
but I'm looking forward to it.
why do I not
yeah,
remember him in Schitt's Creek?
he was in the last few episodes, and Moira's getting a job again. She was he was the
Okay,
agent.
I need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I obviously loved him in Frasier because
Oh
he
yeah.
was Donnie Douglas.
Okay. Was it a recurring?
Yeah, he was Daphne's fiance. So he was in quite a few episodes
Okay,
and
that's
then
I've seen some of it. It is
he was
funny.
Niall's lawyer, like divorce
Of course he
lawyer.
was.
Yeah.
Nicole, do you have a bad example?
I do. I do. I just finished it. It looked like a peacock, and I had to fix it.
Oh,
Okay.
you guys
Oh,
ready?
oh, what looks like a peacock?
I
Mm.
think
This.
we're
I'm
about
not
to
looking at
find
the
out.
stream, so somebody call it out for me when someone sees. Okay, you ready? And three,
Okay.
2, 1.
Got it.
Oh, that would be Egeria. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, what is the name of the episode?
Yeah. Let's see if
Why she
anyone
got her
can come
mouth
up with a
open?
name. Well, that's because kind of
The
what she
entry point.
does. That's really good. Who's the person standing there? Is that Kalma?
Yeah.
All right, that makes
Oh,
sense.
yes.
I
Ah,
know she's
Jacob got
shocked
it.
now, but
Jacob is on this like white on rice, like
yeah.
stink on a monkey. Jeez, man, you
So
got
it
it.
was
Pure,
blue
very
and
good.
red. It looked
Cure, that's what
exactly
it's called,
like a
yes.
bad peacock, and I went, "That is not good enough." And I
Yeah,
was like, "Let me fix
exactly.
it and add a
I
surprise
It's
appreciate that
not
birthday."
you've
a
chosen
brain; it's a
a
birthing
different
sac.
color.
Yeah,
Uh,
thank
Yes.
and
you.
I really like the mouth. You've done a good
I
job
I,
with
I needed
the
to show
mouth on the
shot.
symbiote. No, the
Yeah.
symbiote
Oh, the
mouth.
symbiote, the little. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it didn't look that good a minute ago. So
Well
done.
done,
We've done it.
gang.
Love it. Love it. A season 6 one.
You ready to
I
watch
like Cure.
Heroes?
It's a good one.
God,
No.
are we ever ready to watch Heroes?
I'm ready to rip the Band-Aid off and get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Um,
nearly done with season 7, guys. Like it's nice.
It's been
yeah,
dragging on for like 8 months.
Usually,
it
we're
has.
already like usually we're taking that summer break that David likes to do, and so I usually start getting really sweaty, and then we don't stream for ages. So then you meet me as the sweat's going
Then you
away.
have a change of season.
Have we taken
Yeah,
all the summers off before?
yeah, we usually do.
Usually a bit because you've got Comic
We
Cons
usually
to
take at
attend,
least like a month.
or
We'll see.
Yeah,
yeah, and
Um,
you
so
yeah,
I'm full sweat
I,
at the
I'll
moment.
full
uh,
sweat.
I'll I'll get into the calendar as such as it is some point here later in the show. Let's pull up
Yeah.
Heroes um, and make this one happen. It might help if I actually have my tools ready to go. I'm just
I would
saying.
like to try and
Okay.
finish season 7 before we take any breaks. So that will be
It's my you like
nice.
breaks like more than a couple 3 weeks. No, we
Yes.
I
have
don't need
to.
a yeah.
Yeah, because the we have to do Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, damn right.
Oh,
Damn right.
yes, that's my pre-birthday treat.
So exciting.
Yes.
Um,
What am I missing? Here it is.
I
Okay.
was I was prepping Nicole and David earlier, everyone, that I have a lot of notes to go through.
You're gonna be hearing
15 pages front and back.
15 pages.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, 15 pages.
I think this is ready. Try that. Okay. All right, we're set here. Heroes Part 1, everyone. Go ahead and boot that one up. We have no MGM logo at the beginning. I don't know if some of your copies, I think some of your copies still do. Let me see here. Let me ask you guys in the chat, do you have an MGM logo at the start of Heroes 1? All right, and let me know. All right, you guys all set?
Yeah.
Ready to jump right
Let's
into
jump
the
right
Yeah.
into
Let's
this
do it.
this
emotionally.
madness.
Yes.
Heroes Part 1 in 5, 4, 3,
So you're getting the full thing?
Welcome to Heroes Part 1 on the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Nicole
Hello.
and Yvie.
Hello.
And here we go. We're watching
Trauma.
well, what is
Trauma.
largely considered to be some of the best two-parters, if not the best
Absolutely.
two-parter that the show has put out. It's Christopher Judge's favorite. I know it's a favorite of the cast.
Yes,
It
yeah.
makes it so serious. It really like takes that kind of camp style and kind of puts it to the side for an episode to be like, hey, look, this is actually like serious warfare we're
Yeah,
engaging
I
in.
think there was a Comic-Con in 2008 with a lot of the cast and crew, and this two-parter was rated the best that SG-1 ever produced in its entire 10-year run. And I think that was Amanda, Martin Wood, Michael, and Christopher.
Yep, and
So, yeah.
it was only supposed to be one episode for the longest time. It was shot with second unit throughout season 7, and at a certain point,
Yes.
Rob turned it into 2 episodes and added the Woolsey subplot that we see in the second show.
Which is awesome.
Absolutely, yeah,
Love that.
yeah. So that takes care of about a page of my notes, so I can
Hey,
skip over
perfect.
that.
Thank you.
Turn on to 2 of 15. Proceed.
So this so I was going to say that this is in the background there with the mustache is Mitchell Costerman, and he actually played Agent Hamner in Seth before this
ATF.
episode, obviously.
Yeah.
And his character's name is Rundell. So Mitchell actually based the character on Andy Makita, the director, going for like this calm, capable, likable vibe. And a bit of a military slip up. His glorious mustache is totally out of regulations.
Oh.
So the Air Force mustaches can't go past the corner of your lips, and the Air Force actually called them out on this after the fact.
Wow.
Ooh.
So we obviously have Saul Rubinek in his only role as the documentarian Emmett Bregman. And I think, David, when you interviewed Robert C. on Dial the Gate, he told you that Saul took this role very personally and he had tons of ideas about the character. And they had lots of long meetings where Saul would write suggestions in the script margins.
He sure did.
And he sort of partnered with Robert to develop Bregman's lines.
That's not
and
really
they
something you can get away with as
intentionally-
an actor. Yeah, normally.
They intentionally shaped him as like an unapologetic character who wouldn't seek sympathy from viewers, and Saul wanted to confirm the part matched his abilities and like appreciated how receptive the creative team were for his input and, you know, spontaneous additions. And Saul offered various ideas and contributions, and he did, after all, stress that Robert C. deserved full credit for the product.
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe that the Iraq War was happening while they wrote this, and Robert Cooper said that he didn't mean it to make it political commentary, but he couldn't ignore the obvious parallels with, you know, embedded journalism.
Well,
embedded
Saul
journalists.
was born in a refugee camp in Germany
He
after
was,
World War II. So he, you know, these secret societies, secret organizations impact on people, real or fictional. This has an impact on him. And he
Yes.
really, you know, took ownership of this role, which is extraordinary.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think he's a dream. When I met him as well at Comic-Con, I remember saying to him, I was like, Heroes is like considered the greatest episode of Stargate. And I was like, and so much of that is like not only like the main cast and crew, but having such a good guest star like really carry it. And
Yeah, he
it's a
really
hard job to
pops.
do, having someone carry such an important role
Yep.
as a guest. And honestly, he amazes me. So
Yeah, it just sounds like he really immersed himself into this role. So
Not everyone could
you
have
can
pulled
really
this
see
off.
that pop on screen.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So here's a bit of a fun fact. Robert Cooper, who wrote this episode, got his inspiration from an old MASH episode called Yankee Doodle Doctor,
Yep.
where they had like a documentary crew filming, and he wanted to take a step back and really look at how incredible the Stargate program was and explore how these people felt about saving the world on a weekly basis without anyone knowing about it. And I think, David, when you interviewed Andy Makita, he called this episode Stargate's love letter to the armed forces.
Correct.
And Andy praised how invested everyone was because the episode had such a different tone to what they usually did. And there's like a level of sensitivity and vulnerability that they hadn't really explored before. And I think he told David that parts were like, I think you mentioned this, shot all over the place so when they could get to it.
Yep.
So it was filmed essentially March all the way through to August of 2003. So they would just steal the actors for a moment of filming whenever they could and like just stitched it together. So yeah, parts of this episode were filmed over a pretty extensive period, which is kind of cool.
How fast Saul's brain is going is kind of mind-boggling because you know he sounds like he's coming up with the dialogue as he's doing. Oh, that's interesting. Was it you know? And it's him.
Very
it's just his
natural.
natural approach.
Yeah.
Like the way he just pulls Ghost Mostly, imagine. It's just like it's like, oh wait, so what? We need to talk about this. The way that he coughs into his hand is so good.
I know.
That's
It's
fantastic.
good. And Saul just bounces right back with it.
Great chemistry. Lockwatcher said, "This is so upsetting. I'm not ready to watch this episode." Oh wait, I found the DVD. I guess I am.
There you
So-
go.
Oh, I don't think anyone's ever ready to watch this episode.
Oh
So-
yeah, Lockwatch also reminds us Adam Bolden's in this episode, and I'm a
He
huge
is.
Firefly Chuck fan. So yay!
Yes.
So you have
He
to
is.
understand when I watched this, I had been trying to get Rick for the longest time to sit down and talk with me. So as I'm watching this for the first time, I really feel like Bregman.
Yeah.
I finally interviewed Rick on the aircraft carrier in San Diego for the Stargate Continuum premiere, and we had a great 5 minutes, but that's all it was. And I've been chasing him ever since. So I relate to this character on a journalistic reporter level.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, you studied journalism as well.
I did.
So, yeah, I get that.
I love the way she's like, "Well, you got my file."
Yes,
to the
quickly
camera.
record her.
Yeah.
camera.
She's perfect.
I love this.
Yeah, it's funny because she's like, she's like faced armies of Jafar, with loaded weapons as
Blown
if
up
it
a
were
star.
nothing.
Yeah.
And now when there's a camera in front of her, she just turns to a bowl of jello.
That's it.
Blue jello.
Blue Jello, yeah.
I suspect if AI is ever really a thing and takes off, I suspect, a few years from now, I think a fan is going to sit down and make this documentary possible using AI
That
and a
would
number of
be
other things.
really cool.
Wild to watch.
Well, it'd
Yeah.
be interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to be complaining. They're not getting their rights, and they're not using for using their likenesses. And I understand, but there's some things you're just not going to be able to stop. So we'll see.
yeah.
But I would like to see
Yeah.
it, as long as it doesn't make any
Yes.
money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just experimentation's interesting.
Yep.
Yes.
But then, the robots might take over and yada, yada,
Oh,
yada.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
I
Likeness
thought
rights will be
you
the
were
least of our
about
worries.
that, Nicole.
Yeah.
I'm always team robot.
No, you are. So, in a second, Daniel's like cheeky little dash down
Yes.
the corridor.
Oh, it's so funny.
I think it's kind of funny because I don't believe that he would have done that like pre-ascension. I think he kind of would have been a little bit more excited to share like his
Yes.
archaeological discoveries on camera. But like this Daniel is more cynical. He's more resistant to playing
Snarky.
along with
Bit
what he
Jack.
sees as like a pointless exercise. He's becoming a little bit more Jack.
Yeah. Season 7 is the leap from the beeper to the cell phone headset.
Yeah.
With Lost City.
I love this so much. This is honestly
Bluetooth.
such
It's
a
funny.
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's well done.
He thinks of could be life-changing stuff.
It's just a mellow.
Yeah.
What does this mean for
Let's
humanity?
get a shot of it.
Internal facts.
It's fascinating. He's so cute. Why'd you run? It's honestly it's a great reaction.
Oh God, I think my parents had that fax machine.
I had a thermal fax machine.
I don't
He's
even know what
such a
that
cutie.
means.
Want to see if you chase me?
Jeez.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
This
So
is the
Silence
birth
you
of
time
actually,
Dr.
shine.
Lee, the comedian.
Yeah.
I love Dr. Lee. If you actually watch the demonstration really carefully, there's sort of a little bit of a technical glitch. So there's like this weird delay between when the blast hits Sylar and when the stunt rig pulls him back. It's
Yeah.
just like a split second, but it's sort of kind of obvious.
Yeah, there are two practical effects going at once. The smoke at the end of the staff, and then, you know,
Big rope.
the
or
ratchet
thing. Yeah.
pull.
Ratchet pull, yeah. At least he's going back into like a cushy padding,
Yep.
You can see where the
unlike
line and the padding is
that
where he's
previous
being
episode.
pulled through.
Oh,
Where
sure.
the,
Yeah.
the thing is.
Yes.
The way that Teal'c doesn't even
I think
wait.
Teal'c is kind of he's just enjoying it.
Yeah, he doesn't even wait a beat.
Oh,
I know he
yeah,
doesn't.
I never noticed the delay.
Yeah, the delay always kind of bothers me.
Yes, I remember noticing it before in the past, but
Yeah.
what can you do?
Speed it up.
Speed it up. I was going to say as well, I believe that Sony gave Stargate these like special MPEG cameras to make the documentary footage look real. But the
Wow.
problem was like someone set up something wrong and a lot of it came out really blue, so they had to color correct everything in post. I don't know how
Whoa.
true that is.
Interesting.
What's
I don't know.
a ball ache that would be?
Mm.
Dan Ben, did Daniel Jackson have a middle name? If he did, we don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't have a middle name because my dad forgot and my mum
And you've
was
also got a lot of
unconscious.
surnames.
Yeah.
True.
Well, actually, so my surnames aren't double barrel, but they're not
Yes.
hyphenated. So everyone assumes my middle name is Rodriguez, and that's just silly.
Oh, oh well.
So,
So-
where's the Rodriguez and the Galdo come from then?
My two last
One's
names,
a
my mum
dad's
and my dad.
surname and
Your mom and your dad? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
Your mom's last
share.
name? You mean your grandfather's last name?
Yeah, technically. yes.
technically, yeah. If you want to be technical.
Okay.
But then if you want to get really technical, it's like my great
Speaking of being technical, so you kind of really see a disconnect when Sam like launches into that super technical explanation
Yes.
about the gate operations, and Bregman cuts her off to watch the
I
gate
know,
spinning.
it's so sad.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because she has this really deadpan delivery about the gate spinning and steam
Try
coming
spinning,
out of
it's
it and
so cool.
everything.
His steam comes out,
And
yeah.
it kind of illustrates what Robert C. Cooper was going for with this episode. So after 7 years, even the most extraordinary aspects of the job of Stargate Command became sort of routine.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
just like the SG teams who bet on what they'll find off world, the crew had become sort of a little bit complacent, I guess, like desensitized.
Colonel Dave Dixon enters the scene. Adam Baldwin, like Lockwatcher
Yes,
says.
Adam
I love him.
Baldwin.
He is my boo.
So the producers apparently wanted him to return for Atlantis, but Adam's
love that.
schedule wouldn't allow it.
I actually want to say, the game Halo 3 ODST is basically just Firefly, the video game. They got the cast. So Adam Baldwin is in that. And that is my Halo tattoo on my arm. It's from Halo 3 ODST, which is my favorite
Oh,
game, which has
cool.
him in it.
Look at you.
He's honestly I'm such a fan. He's amazing.
So David Lewis plays Cameron Belinsky, so SG-13's enthusiastic archaeologist. Sorry,
Carrot Top.
he actually replies.
He's doing a great Danny Elfman impression.
Comes back in season 8, doesn't he? It's great.
Yep.
He'll reprise the role in Mobius Part 2. And then Christopher Pierce plays Senior Airman Jack Bosworth, and he actually returns as the same character in Mobius Part 2. He meets that unfortunate Anne courtesy of Gua-Wolded Daniel on Chulak.
Yes.
And he's also in Prometheus Unbound.
Julius Chappell, who plays Simon Wells. We've emailed back and
Yes.
forth a couple of times. I've been trying to get him.
Oh,
I would love to have him.
It would have been awesome to see him in some later episodes, because I think he really knocks the ball out of the park with this episode. I think he does really well.
Well, he's the
But, yeah, we
symbol
only see him once.
of Frasier's lasting courage and responsibility. That
He gets to
it
be a father.
makes it
He's
makes her death
literally the last
noble.
person that she saves.
Uh-huh.
So, and Dixon's dialogue here about his 4 kids, like it's sort of how gate travel is kind of actually like it's sort of funny because it reveals how these soldiers compartmentalize their dangerous work. It also humanizes, I think, the other SG teams that we really see. Kind of
Hmm.
reminds us that these people do have lives beyond the
His
gate,
comment on, you know what else works? Birth control that works.
Yeah.
He's tried.
It's just Adam Baldwin always plays these quite like, snarky and characters like that. Like I have their moments of attitude, and like Jane and Firefly. So I just love that he's bringing a bit of that.
Yeah. Okay, so you might actually notice that throughout this episode, Jack's hair mysteriously gets shorter and longer. So you'll
Yes.
notice the shorter hair in this scene. And I think Robert Cooper shared a bit of a production story about this on Dial the Gate.
Yep.
So he got called into set because RDA had returned from this like summer hiatus that they had while they were filming with his super short haircut, and they were shooting scenes that were supposed to take place earlier in the episode. And when Robert asked what happened, Rick just sort of shrugged and said, he felt like getting his hair cut shorter. And they joked that Jack must have found time, to visit the barber shop in the middle of this crisis. And you can actually see like the hair length change because, like I said, it was shot like 6 to 8 weeks from the original footage.
At least
So-
it got shorter and not longer.
Well, it flips back and forth.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not like
I've never
really
noticed it.
super noticeable.
I've never
It's not
noticed it,
super
yeah.
noticeable
I
because his hair
did-
was pretty short to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, I
If it
remember
was
noticing it, but
That
that's,
bad,
yeah.
they could have reshot it with the shorter hair.
Yeah,
would've
it's
made it
not
work.
bad enough.
So this is a quote from the film.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's so silly when you say it like that, though. Like you talk about it being a landing pad. It's like,
Yeah.
could get him some pills, put him in an asylum. Oh, Catherine.
Yeah.
I love the way that he's just recapping his life to him, and he's just like, yeah, sure, yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah,
to
he
give
doesn't
you.
really indulge him very much, does he?
No.
What do you remember? Not much.
I'm not gonna lie. I know that SG-1's very like against this, but I would really feel I would love to see Daniel kind of taking his moment, being like, you know what, everyone who doubted me, if this ever comes out,
exactly.
screw it, everybody.
That would have been much
Take the
more true to
moment.
form.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well,
I
post
think-
Ascension Daniel is cynical Daniel.
It is,
He
yeah,
is very
yeah.
cynical. Yeah.
So cute.
It's tricky though because from their perspective, they don't Tilk. From their perspective, they just don't know how they're going to be portrayed, and they're just really sensitive to how they're going to come across. And I don't think they want to be hero worshipped.
Nope.
No. Here comes like one of the most popular memes / gifs that came out of this
Indeed.
show.
The Indeed
Yeah,
gift,
for sure.
yes.
It's probably the most gift Stargate.
Yeah,
frame.
it's weird. I occasionally see like Stargate being used in memes, and I'm like, "Whoa, what are you doing here, Stargate?" And it's always a nice thing.
Yeah.
Like completely
It's
out of context
usually-
of Stargate.
I usually see the one where Jack's like shrugging outside the wormhole.
Oh,
and
Gate
then,
is gonna
like,
gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. You missed us. Yeah.
So mad. He's just like, I
Did
hate
he
this.
did he actually tell you to say anything in response to my questions? No.
He's burning through, Oh, jeez. Tape
Amazing.
Oh, buddy.
Here we go.
This-
But yeah, it's like it is reminding me of my earlier days in journalism where you sometimes would have to phrase a question multiple times to
Yeah.
get an
There it
actual
is.
response. Because some people
Yeah.
just give you like 2 or 3 word responses and you're like, I can't quote that.
Not everyone's a good interview. You should have seen Joe
No.
Flanagan between season 1 and 2. He was a terrible interviewer. Yes, no answers. And it's like,
Oh,
okay, come on, dude, you got to give me
Joe.
something. And he got much better. They had to coach him.
I was going to say he
Yeah.
probably had training.
Yep. They got it. They got him through it. And
Well, Anthony said, I would have liked to see the finished documentary. Yeah.
yeah, me too. I showed my dad Heroes 1 and 2, and his issue with this is if the president requested that this be created,
Yes.
In addition to
As
that,
he's exiting.
right. In addition to that, but also just regardless, these people at this command would have been bending over backwards to make sure that they got what they needed, so that they would have the most possible positive portrayal given, rather than being snarky like this. This is a lot of fun, but it's not realistic.
No.
Hammond would have been under orders to cooperate fully, and based on everything that my father has said, like it would have turned out much more like MASH had. Where they would have really given them an opportunity to really see these people.
Yeah.
Now, not reveal a ton of personal information or classified information, but they wouldn't have been they would have been ordered to not be reticent on camera.
Yeah. Okay, so we have
It comes
the
a thing from
Imperial
Empire
probe
Strikes Back.
droid.
There it is. Yeah, the Imperial
That's
probe droid.
they're kind of not even really subtle about it. Like it looks
No.
exactly like
It's
it.
just straight
except
up
it's
in the
not
air.
going.
Yeah, exactly. I was
Whatever
going to make that
noise
noise.
is.
Turn on the system, turn on the sound. This is one of the few effects that I buy when the probe droid gets knocked over from the rock fall. It doesn't.
You buy it?
I don't buy it.
I don't
It
buy it.
falls
I don't.
apart
It's
too
not
easily.
good.
It
Yeah.
would have been pushed. It would have been pushed by the shield.
Yeah.
Instead, like it looks like the lid, its cap or whatever, was just like not even holding on to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't hit hard enough. It was just nudged.
Like a crappy little barbecue in the wind.
Yeah.
A barbecue in the wind.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just looks like that the top head part of it just wasn't connected to the body, and it kind of just like slipped.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not great. Also, isn't shooting that close kind of a bad thing to do tactically? Like,
It's not
what if
good.
it
Yeah.
ricocheted? Yeah.
For sure.
Also, I just want to say that I didn't even realize Lockwatcher also compared the droid to a grill. He said if it's attacked by a Weber grill, it's a grill / Imperial probe droid. Wow, Kinsey, I hate you.
Okay.
Oh, he's just like, he's so fake.
I know.
He's a politician.
I know.
Yeah.
He plays
I
politician
hate
very
it.
well, Ronnie
This is
Cox.
what
does,
I'm
he
like
really
at work
does.
when I'm talking to someone I hate. I like immediately start bending over backwards to be as nice as possible to them because I need work done. But
It's
like,
so scripted. Even Bregman is like checked out.
yeah, he's like, this is all crap.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want political propaganda. He wants something that's actually real.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing that really sucks for him is that they don't know that they can trust him yet as a journalist, but they they don't realize that he's actually so full of heart, and he's not only trying to do his job, but he's trying to help them.
Oh, here we go. Here's the rub. It doesn't sound real. Give me something real. No. Nope. I gave you the soundbite that I wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly. That makes me look good because,
Exactly
I'm going
right.
to be running for vice president.
That's
Oh,
it. Well, he's
God.
he's currently in the middle of the campaign, I would think.
Yeah,
yeah.
on the
So-
campaign trail.
Mm-hmm.
So his like cafeteria ambush of Jack just really shows like how shameless he has become. Like after years of actively trying to shut down the SGC and undermine Hammond, he's like pandering to both the camera and Jack, like promising his full
It's
support if he's elected.
Disgusting.
But like the hypocrisy is just staggering. Like he's literally campaigning in the same facility he once tried to destroy.
Yep.
And like his attempt to get Jack's vote on camera just shows how like absolutely just shameless he is about his past actions. It's just like pure political opportunism. Like
And
it's just
that he thinks he
disgusting.
can actually pull it off.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. I'm
Oh, so
curious to see
sweet.
how much the closed captions actually picks up of Jack.
I was gonna say,
Not
I really
a lot.
want.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, there you
I
go.
really,
Mm.
really wish that I got to know exactly what he said.
Son of a
read his
bitch
lips
is
a
in
little
there. I
bit.
know that.
For sure, yeah. Yeah. I was like, he's eating this up. Emmett's loving this.
This is the most action Emmett's gotten so far.
Yeah.
What makes him think that he can count on Jack's vote? Like, what makes him
He
think
can't.
that? Exactly.
And he's going to keep going. Here we go. This is a campaign pitch for something that'll probably be released after you're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I kind of want to know, was he actually saying anything at all, or is he just
I'm
miming?
sure. Yeah. Self-righteous, opportunistic asshole. You're nothing but a something son of a bitch. I was done.
We need to get like some lip reading experts.
Kevin Weaver, the voice of the documentary voiceover in the second half, is one of the characters from Stargate Infinity.
Correct.
Whoa, that's a
yeah.
fact.
It is a fact.
Not fun, but a fact. Sorry, the Stargate
Interesting.
really hate.
Jeez.
I appreciate it, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
It's
Well, look at him back
SG-13.
there,
What could go
swapping it.
wrong?
Yeah, on 666. I can't remember the
Oh, I
designation.
forgot about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It's so obvious. It's like really obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those damned computer designations.
Symbolism is what I wanted to say.
Uh-huh. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, P3X666
Yep.
and SG-13.
I love this comment.
Love.
Like Dad looked after me for a minute. Yay.
That's funny.
That was just so sweet.
Just throw him a bone.
This is the kind of stuff that happens at my work. Like I'll be like, oh man, I've got to have a meeting with this person. And my boss will be like, don't worry, I already took care of that. And I'm like, this is why I love you. This is why you're But my boss did the opposite to me the other week. And I was like, you being a lazy piece of crap, mate. I had to go have the meeting. And so I was like, screw you, I'm leaving early. So damn right he is.
The footage isn't going anywhere. It's not leaving the base. You know? And it all is logged and accessible to him, within days.
Exactly.
To the letter.
Mm. The president disagrees.
Mm,
And that's true.
yeah. This
Simply
is
by being
exactly
there.
why he's so
Yeah.
resistant to the whole thing. Yeah.
It's why it's so hard to like make content online and why pre-recorded content is something I struggle with, because it's like it feels so unnatural while just talking like a stream like this. It's
Bregman's
Nice.
not wrong.
no.
No, neither of them are wrong.
No, you film enough, and it all depends on the editing. It all depends on how it's assembled.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the red one.
Yeah.
You go get out.
Is there more than one?
No.
I know.
I don't
It's always the red one.
He's got two phones in his office, though. He's got a black one.
Could be his granddaughters, They're
Mhm.
number
That's
one.
it.
Number one on the
That's
speed
right.
dial.
No, I love the way the chat goes. So I guess two. You two on the speed dial.
The president, yeah.
Yeah.
The president.
Does anyone in the chat remember speed dial?
Yes.
I had it on my flip phone. I did have it.
But it wasn't really a speed dial. It was just a contact that was set. Well, I guess it was a button that was pressed, yeah. But it doesn't dial fast when you pick it up. So
Oh, you're like.
No.
it's just right, exactly right. It's just saved as a
Yeah.
number. Thank you, Gecko Fet Web. Thank you, Anthony Rowling. There we go. So hard to shut you up. Because you made them miserable.
I would have liked to see all of SG-1 interview together, or at least like put them in pairs. Maybe like they could help each other out
I
by
think they'd be
supporting each
very
other through it.
awkward.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
might be nice. I'd love to see Sam and Teal'c doing
Yeah.
an
Oh,
interview together.
God. Is that a
Maybe Sam can bring out
VHS?
some warmth from him that Emmett wouldn't have gotten before.
Yeah.
Mm.
I never had these tapes, but the one that Daniel uses in the field, I definitely had one and was shooting on one of those at the time.
Yes.
The micro DV tapes.
Yes, I think when I first studied journalism, I think the equipment that we had to hire out for filming stuff off off campus. I think that was one of those as well.
Oh, so he doesn't have the complete list. That some of them have been flagged as inappropriate. Yeah. Well, we know the foothold incident he'll never have access to.
Yep.
No.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't really seen Fraser yet.
No.
But it's what I do like is that they built her connection with Emmett in order to like so that because it hits even harder because it hit everyone
It makes it
anyway
more
in the
personal
SGC.
for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he has that extra personal connection to
Mm.
her death, which is I'm terrified.
Yeah, they'll only follow his instructions as so long as the colonel says it's okay.
To a point,
Uh-oh.
yeah.
Me with
Yeah,
Rick.
see, his hair's long again.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Shots of his ass.
It sure is. I'll be darned.
Damn right. I think we all want shots of his ass. We're good. Yeah. Evie and I will take that.
Amen. Oh, I love this convo.
Oh, okay, the
She's
shipper.
basically blushing.
They're sneaking some of the shippiness into it without like overdoing it too much. There's a little bit, but you know, they got to feed us.
Well done for sure.
Yeah.
So I think her response to Bregman is quite telling. So she doesn't deny the attraction to Jack. She just points to military regulations as a barrier. And I think that's not a no, that's a not while we're serving together kind of thing. So if we ever get more Stargate, I really, really want a scene where they're watching this released footage together, like the documentary once it's been released, with Jack teasing her about that interview.
Yes.
You know, sort of saying something like, you know, you didn't tell me you'd said that, and you know, look where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, he doesn't really know anything about them personally. It's kind of just jumping off of like them two being, you know, man and a woman kind of thrown together and in the trenches. So it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
The awkwardness is great.
Yeah, this is down the rabbit hole in terms of what would basically show up on this, what would show up in a documentary. But
I was gonna say
it's good for us.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my favorite scenes.
This is so good.
Also, his name tag hasn't been changed yet. It still says Norman Davis.
Sure does. Yeah, he's not recognized as Walter Harriman officially until season 1's home on SGA.
Yeah,
that's a long time because it's like
one more season.
It goes back to like season 4.
It sure does. Yeah, it should at least be Walter Davis now, but it says Norman. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to do this cool part because of the redo. We had to.
You're right.
To get around it. Look what I can do. And that's basically my job.
Yeah.
Look how proud he is.
He's not giving himself enough credit.
To be fair, right? Everyone is important in every stage, you know? Like, if he wasn't there to do that, then, like, because everyone else is doing their bit, he has to do that to help everyone out, you know?
I love watching the text.
How important is the iris, though? The iris is so important, and he controls it, so...
Like, he may not be in charge, but he's pressing the buttons.
Exactly. But yeah, the guy's doing, obviously, nothing in the background.
Watch them look over their shoulder.
Yeah, I love the way they kind of start glaring at him, just being like, all right, okay, full of crap. The way that he's talking is how I talk in like job interviews when they start asking me about like why I care about this role, and I keep talking. I'm like, oh, a sense of pride, you know, I really give a shit. I swore, sorry.
but he's sincere.
Yeah, he is. He actually is.
He probably doesn't have a lot else going on.
Yeah, they need to use that interview with Walter in some sort of like geek technician recruitment video.
Yeah. They should have used that in SGU for Daniel's recordings about the Stargate program. They should have cut to some of that footage. Yeah, get me some juicy stuff out there, would you? Let's get me some shots of Canada. The way Daniel's like weird ass smile there. It's just Gecko Fett said, I prefer Walter over automation any day. Yeah. It's like there are like self-driving cars now, right? That are actually Ubering people in some locations. And I hate that. I trust people way more than I trust a damn computer when it comes to that kind of stuff.
You never
It's my
know.
security.
It's funny, he's putting this bug in his ear, and the very next mission, he's going to be like, here, let me tell my wife how I feel about her. Oh, you know what? I can film this.
Yeah.
Rude.
A little jig. I'd love to get these two on for an interview.
I would love to meet Saul again. He's honestly like one of the nicest people I've ever met. He was so sincere, and I really just love his work. So
yeah, you
And he's so
actually
good at
the
being
interview
funny.
you did with him, David, was really good. He was
Yeah.
really
He was so
chatty.
open.
You didn't
Yeah.
even have to say much. You just had to ask him
No.
a question, and he'd answer for like the next 10 minutes.
He's
with
Yeah.
so
something really
responsive.
honest.
He's so ready to just like throw some nice stuff at people. It's honestly, it's good energy. Yeah, let's get real about this, guys. Oof. I'm glad it never went public because I can always have just a little imaginary Stargate program in my head. You know, Stargate lives on.
I think it was supposed to go public in
Glad it didn't.
the next project
Revolution.
that Brad Wright was
Yep,
working
Stargate
on.
Revolution. Yep.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked for me. That would have kind of ruined some of the magic because it
But
would have
where
really
else?
felt very
Where else
final.
could it go though? Like if they were going to reboot the series,
Exactly.
where else could it go
Nowhere.
that made
Leave
it
it.
that made it different? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. If you wanted to change stuff on Earth, that would be the way to go. They get even more political, though. But it would have destroyed the illusion that
Exactly.
it's our Earth.
Exactly. That's what's so important to me.
Yeah.
Is that I could never believe that it's our actual Earth, but I feel so like invested in this, and like I feel part of it because of that, because the world is my own.
Until inauguration, everything could be ours, and then it's like, well, that's definitely not now. Because William Devane is, doing Colonial Penn ads, not sitting in the Oval.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh, this is where it all changes, guys. But Bosworth, he's like immediately moving to protect his teammate.
Yep.
As that training's kicking in.
Oh yes.
Okay, so you'll notice Siler in the background getting treated
From
from
the
his
thing.
burn or whatever from earlier, which is a nice touch.
You look at him and he said, ow.
But like, yeah, Janet's like going through almost like
We can list these
the
episodes.
greatest hits of Stargate injuries.
You've got a bit of brief candle in
His
there,
knees.
bit of a
Exactly.
message in a bottle.
Well, that's
The Hathel
that's
thing?
like
Never mind.
RDA's actual surgeries, I believe.
Yep.
And I think he hurt his knee again, like right before season 6.
Oh, jeez.
Where he was like carrying his daughter, so they wrote it into the show.
Yep.
I don't understand any of that, but wow. Oh, flirty Janet.
We just did not get enough of her this season.
No.
Well, I was wondering if it's because I think, according to Robert Cooper, this episode was supposed to be earlier on in the season. Is that maybe why she doesn't appear in some of the previous episodes? Because she was supposed to be dead?
Supposed to already be dead.
That's
yeah.
a very...
That makes- that
I
makes-
intend to ask Rob that.
I prefer
Yeah,
that than
please
thinking they
do.
just didn't include her.
Yeah.
So.
Because there was like literally an infirmary scene in Chimera, and she wasn't there, and you would have thought that she would be. It would seem
Yeah.
obvious, but I'm just thinking that maybe they had to reshuffle the order of the episodes, and it was too late to cast her in, I think, at that stage.
Does he not know that the
Liar,
gate
liar.
opens to other planets? What? I mean, what? That's what I don't understand about
I
it.
don't
The
know.
information that he has.
Yeah. Just doesn't
Yeah.
know that
He
phrasing.
knows the
It's
gate
like, well,
opens. He knows it's
off-world
there.
activation.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's pretty darn self-explanatory.
Okay, so there's
I
a
love
moment
this.
where Redmond's like he bumps into Bregman with the boom mic. So apparently Andy Makita encouraged the improvisation like in moments like that during filming, and it sort of like perfectly flows into this next beat where he starts recording Bregman's awkward attempts to flirt with Janet.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Get some B-roll
No,
of
this is
Siler.
way more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
This is so sweet. Oh. It's weird because everyone else has been so mean to him and being like, get out, while Janet's actually like being really
Right.
nice.
Oh, for sure. There's a little bit of an attraction there. I love the look on her face when she
definitely.
realizes the camera's filming this. She's like, what?
And the way he tries to look back, he's like, no, look over there, stop it. Like a petulant child.
That gold probe droid.
Bam.
So they got a man down, right? But
Yes.
like the loss is going to be a lot having these people go and rescue them with the odds, right?
Yes.
Would the U.S. military in a real situation would have just also, or Air Force would have pieced out? Would have
They
pieced out?
probably would have tried to extract him.
Maybe. Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
that's the whole reason that Woolsey has an issue.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause I just wonder at what point do you kind of go, well, it's too much.
There is a possibility, that they wouldn't have.
So I read somewhere, and again, I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere that this was a bit of improvisation in this cafeteria scene. So during filming, Terrell spotted that Saul was still wearing his personal wedding ring, and rather than stopping the scene, she incorporated it into the moment and has Janet ask about the ring, and Saul's response about his wife was like improvisation, and it kind of adds this unexpected depth to the character.
I love it. I think it's that's the thing. It's not really something that like serves everything, the plot too much. It's just there to just give us a bit more on Emmett. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. We don't. I'm wrong. I was about to say we don't see her with her guard down, and no, we often do. But yeah, she's from another planet.
I love how she's like being like, hey, yeah, if you want to be like the stepfather, alien kid.
The deadpan delivery is just like mwah, comedy
Terrific.
gold.
Would you really talk about that on camera?
But,
I would have
like-
loved to get a Cassandra interview on camera.
Yep.
I know. So looking
she'd
back,
keep her away
this
from that.
scene becomes like even more poignant. Like watching one of Janet's final moments of peace where she's genuinely happy and maybe considering the possibility of something new with
Yeah.
Bregman
Janet's last
Yeah.
makes
supper.
what's coming like
Yeah.
that much harder to watch.
Yeah.
So I believe the script draft was leaked online in February 03 before they started filming, and Bregman's character was called Parker in that version.
Oh.
But all the major plot points were still there, and fans immediately started that Save Janet Fraser
Yep.
campaign. There was a website.
I actually, so I knew she died before I ever saw
Me
this
too.
episode, because obviously, well, for me, I hadn't seen it. I'd seen season 8 and I'd gone, where the hell is Janet? And then
Yeah.
it would come up every now and again, and I think I then watched like season 9 after not seeing her at all, and I was like, she either left or she died. And then I
Right.
saw Ripple Effect, and then that's when I was like, oh damn, I've like
Mm,
she's dead. And so it didn't hit me as emotionally as I wish it did. It was just such a surprise. I was like, wait, what? When did that happen? What happened to Cassandra? So
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to the next one.
But we're going
But
to
I
get
am.
through it together, everyone. That was
Yeah.
Heroes Part 1. Stay with us. All right, gang. Let's not belabor this. I feel like I'm
Hard to rate it.
dangling by a thread.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yep.
This is great setup. It lines up everything that's coming next, but it's an incomplete story.
Yeah.
If I were to
Yes.
rate this episode by itself, I would probably give it a 6. That's high for
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Largely because the performances are excellent in this.
Yeah.
Saul Rubinek mops the floor with everything and everyone really brought their A game with it as well. I don't have a lot to say other than the performances are very strong, and you get into it. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Yep, I agree. I'm gonna go straight into it and just say a 6 for the same reasons.
Yes.
It's hard to
Yep.
talk about it without the next one because it's 3 parts. So yeah.
Yep. For
Yeah,
sure.
I was actually
parts, sorry, 2
thinking
parts.
about what I would rate this yesterday, and I was also settled on a 6.
P3X
So,
666.
6.
Interesting.
Hey,
Yeah,
look at us!
that,
Wait, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, did I mention I'm reading a book called The Devils? Oh, the timing. Yeah, so I guess everyone get their ratings in fast because we're going in fast into the next one. I mean, give everyone a minute to
We are.
do that and then go put their next DVD in or whatever. It's fun.
Yeah.
Actually, your question earlier, David, about how whether people seeing the MGM intro. A couple people were telling us how they had theirs. I think it was Laura or
40%
something.
says yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
60% no.
Oh,
So I think it's important that we
interesting.
continue to
Okay.
remind people of that at the top of these episodes. Otherwise, they're going to be
Yeah, I think Love Watcher
off
said he
by
was
4
or
seconds. And my
someone
computer panel just fell
correct
off for
me.
whatever reason. So,
Someone
okay.
correct me. Someone's watching it on Sky TV or
Don't
something
need it.
with on demand or something, so they're getting it there without the intro. So it's really interesting hearing how everyone's
Moving
watching
through
it. 'cause
it really
everyone's got their own
fast.
ways.
I mean, they're not going to be able to.
Yeah.
They're not going to be keeping
Yeah.
pace with us. I really
Yeah.
recommend finding a Region 1 copy. They're available. If you find it on Amazon or anywhere else, you're going to get the Region 1 copies.
The problem is with Region 1 copies is they don't play on our DVD players or consoles.
No,
They
but
are-
computers find a Region 1
Oh.
copy like on streaming.
Oh, like
So
that.
you're not
yeah.
going to have the PAL versions over there. So that's just for
Yeah.
television sets.
Um,
Okay, let's go ahead,
okay.
Nicole. Yeah.
So we've got
Everyone just catch up and
Yeah.
write what you can when you can.
Lock Watcher, this is a 6. Bolden, Rubinek, Cox, hard to beat. Can't be graded correctly without the second half. Like movies, only saw the first half of Sixth Sense. Always wondered how that ended. It's hilarious. Gecko Fett, I'll give this a 6. Gene Diada, I can't rate it as a separate episode. It's just a 7. The character limit is too short to talk about heroes. 7 chevrons is an easy choice. Jack's Cabin, yup, 6 for part 1. Raj Luthor, Heroes, part 1 is a 6 out of 7. Shirma Victoria, 6. I like Flirty Janet, but there is such a looming feeling of impending doom. Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Stuart Miller, yeah, I agree with you all. Definitely a 6. And Candy Mitch, 7. Love when Daniel runs for fun. And Dan Ben said it was him that had a Sky Demand box sets. Thank you. Or something. Yeah. Okay, and anyone else that hasn't got theirs in yet, I will say it on the
We'll
next
say it
one.
at the next stream. Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty consistent in terms of ratings. I don't think we've had that
We all
Yeah,
love
we seem
heroes.
to be
except before like
Yeah.
Window of Opportunity
all
or
on
something
the
similar.
same.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
on the same sheet music. All right, we're going
right.
to get into Heroes Part 2. Just gonna kind of jump right into this one, guys.
Dan Ben says
and,
6 out of 7. Cool.
There we go.
we
Thank
go.
you, Dan Ben. All right, guys, ready?
Go.
Yeah.
Heroes Part 2 in 5, 4, 3. Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists. I'm David Reed, along with Yvie
Hello.
and Nicole.
Hello.
We are.
We're
Come
all
on. We're watching Heroes Part 2.
We all
We're
just sound
sounding
so defeated.
somber.
I know.
It's a good episode,
So-
guys.
Yeah.
It is a very good episode. I believe that this part 2 is the 150th episode of Stargate
I think
SG-1
so,
to
right,
air.
yeah.
Yeah, and as we mentioned in the previous episode, this wasn't supposed to be a two-parter, but Robert C., I think he said to you, David, on Dial the Gate, that the first cut ran about 50-ish, 58-ish minutes
Yeah,
long.
it was nearly an
And
hour.
like a typical cut is usually about 52 minutes, and then they whittle it down to about 42. So he said that the initial 48 minutes was like too good to cut, basically. So he lent into what Brad Wright and Jonathan Glassner had been talking about, which was taking advantage of good opportunities, and that's when they like spun it out and expanded it.
Yeah, this is the first time they do that. In season 8, they do that with Threads, where it fits right in the middle, but
yes, of course
Sci-Fi
they do.
allows for an
Threads.
extended episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you got to get like you got to consult the network, you have to reorganize the director's schedules, like there's all this stuff to do. You got to come up with new material, insert scenes, and I think Robert said that he wanted to insert scenes rather than just add to the ending.
Emergency.
Think big.
I really love his speech coming up where he's like,
This is
there
an
are people.
excellent speech that we'll see
Yeah.
Really
momentarily.
is.
Yeah,
Saul was
I want to
very
see it.
passionate about it when he came on the
It's
channel.
it's
He
such
really
a
was.
honestly, I get goosebumps every time I watch it of him just screaming, I want to see it. I want to like this is what
Yeah.
we should be seeing, and it's just like,
That's
wow,
it.
I just can't.
You can't ignore his perspective. But at the same
No.
time, we know the people who are going through the situation are suffering, and we want them to be protected because they're family to us. But that doesn't make him wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the thing that I love about sci-fi. It's not always right versus wrong. It's often right versus right. And which one do you pick?
This is what I really miss about books that I'm reading, because so many books that I read lack that nuance now. I don't know what the hell's happened, but everything's so black and white. And it's like, no, I like, when Stargate gets messy. I like when I don't know which right is right, because it's all, they're all
Very
good
few-
people.
Yeah, very few things are so clear cut that there is
Yeah.
usually a gray area.
People are much
Yeah.
more fatalist now. There's all kind of
Yeah.
reasons for that. I think
It's
there's I
really-
think
it's
there's
really
a
sad.
I think there's a hopelessness and a malaise, and I think that's why a lot of people are retreating into
that's well
themselves.
said.
Yeah.
But hey, let's watch Heroes Part 2.
Yeah. It's
God.
the nuance is great. I'm really excited. This is going to be fantastic.
As an editor, I love this scene. I'm so there with them in that cutting room
Yeah,
putting
the
this
cut
thing
pretty
together.
professional,
He's
him in the
completely
suit.
right. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been obviously cutting the shorts for Wormhole Extreme
Yep.
on YouTube, and just like
You get
looking
it.
at some of this, I totally get it.
Just the two, Dale,
So-
Dale and Emmett, just going back and forth in terms of editing this scene together is just great.
Yes. Well, like Bregman is sort of kind of carefully editing out the moments where he's backed Sam into a corner. Like
Yeah.
he's genuinely trying to
Yeah.
present these people fairly and not create antagonistic television.
Yep.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's also proving the point of like you can edit things to like, make it what you want it to be.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
like it's taking things and putting them together in order to make it work. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like the number of times that like I like watching a little bit of reality TV.
yeah,
But
the edits.
sometimes, like My Kitchen Rules or like MasterChef or whatever, the number of times that people have come out that have been on the show and have said they've deliberately tweaked what I've said to make me come across as an antagonist.
And you can tell in a lot of
like
the editing
staggering.
how
Yeah.
they've pulled pieces around from other spots, and it's like, okay, that reaction is not from that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
especially when
I'm gonna-
like part 1 and part 2 of an episode, they come back and the second one is like
Yeah.
edited completely differently. It's like, okay, well, which one is real? Of the overlapping element from both of the episodes.
So I like to kind of notice the contrast between how we see Bregman throughout the episode versus how he appears in these documentary segments.
He looks
Like
so serious.
apparently, well, he's wearing a suit. So
Yeah.
Andy Makita deliberately had Saul looking a little bit more scruffy and surrounded by clutter during the actual interviews, but in the finished documentary footage, he's polished in a
He's gone off and he's gotten B-roll of
And-
himself asking those questions to insert
Yeah.
himself in. It's
Exactly,
very
yeah.
common.
It's
Yeah.
it's a documentary filmmaking trick.
Yeah.
He went back and filmed his own segments again,
Yeah.
looking more professional.
I love his line,
I
nobody
like that.
cares that nobody cares. It's one of my favorites.
Yes.
I've been confronted with a bunch of nothing on camera, and it's like, there's nothing
yeah.
that I can do with this. No one's ever cut from me to an Alkesh bomber. I'm just saying.
So I'm gonna butcher this name, I think. I'm not sure. So Daniel Kulksar said my Kleenex box is ready.
There we go.
Yeah, I didn't bring one, so
Aw.
silly me.
I have a box of tissues right within arm's reach.
But I mean, Bregman's not wrong. It's the documentary right now is just a lot of air.
Yeah.
They're not getting to anything because they're not giving him any solid answers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to get to the heart, and he's just sort of
There is no heart right now. He's not
tapping at the
filmed
surface.
anything.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
point, isn't it? In a minute, he's like, we just got a bunch of people yakking. No one cares about
Yak,
that.
yak, yak. Where's
Talking
Shepard golfing
heads.
on the moon?
Yeah. I absolutely love how they've edited this scene together with the next scene. yeah, it's so fantastic. He's just like, it's boring, and then it cuts to the chaotic battle
Explosions.
scene.
I would
Yeah.
love to riff with him on camera, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, where's my script? I've lost myself. I don't know how he does it. He can just go back. So playing golf with him. This is one of the most amazing sequences in the
transition.
series
Yes.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
really
why it's
is.
in the
The
intro.
entire show. Yeah.
Whenever people like try to criticize Stargate, because a lot of people just go, "Oh, isn't it just 90s cringy sci-fi?"
Watch this
I
shot.
point to this
No.
episode. Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
not
I
a
point to
cheap
this.
shot. Wow. I
No.
just gave myself goosebumps watching it.
Yeah.
So if you keep your eye on
Watching my
Adam
heroes together is great.
Baldwin, in
Yeah.
a second he leans back too far and he moves the entire boulder.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah. I remember noticing that when I was younger. I just love seeing my worlds collide, and anytime I see crossovers between my favorite shows where the actors appear, I'm always just so giddy. So seeing RDA and Adam together is awesome.
It'll move in just a second. Yeah, see, it shifts like right back, and yeah, there.
They are-
Oh yeah, they're oh man, they're like 5 pounds.
I love that.
Okay, and also in a second, you catch Jack's flashlight falling off the P90 during the firefight, and then the next scene when he gets hit, it's magically back on his weapon.
Oh really?
Ah.
Okay. It took me for a while to realize that beat from Janet, that's happening at the same time as this. So Janet gets hit.
Saw it fall off. Yep.
Janet goes down about now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does.
So-
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fallen off already. If you
Oh,
didn't
it
notice.
has. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim in the chat says he
Ooh.
complains
Back on.
about Shepard playing golf on the moon and said, does that have any relationship to Atlantis? I don't think it does.
So Shepard was named after Al Shepard.
Ah, yes.
Just like Colonel
Yeah.
Young was. They're all astronauts. So
Yeah.
go watch the right stuff. That's SG-1's predecessor. The space program.
So the way that they make it seem like it's RDA, and also the interesting thing is that because
know.
RDA has been taking a step back, this wouldn't have been, if we didn't already know this, we wouldn't have
Yes.
put it past them considering killing
Yeah.
Jack.
Yes,
wouldn't have,
I
wouldn't have been
thought the
surprised.
whole way through because I hadn't done too much research into the plot.
Oh, you
when I
didn't
was
know who
watching
dies?
this. No,
Yeah.
and I knew that he had stepped back. That's all I knew, and I just thought they'd killed him off, and I was
Panic.
just absolutely devastated. Yeah.
What's frustrating is it's
so-
almost like less of a devastation knowing it's Janet instead of Jack, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I
The
sold
setup
those
is actually
BLUs.
quite brilliant.
Mm.
They stand
So,
for Blinky Light Units.
Blinky light units. So Walter made a Space Invaders joke, which is actually a playful
Yeah.
jab at some behind the scenes feedback. So apparently the Air Force had given the show a note that their personnel wouldn't be playing video games while on duty, and the writers, decided that they'll
Let's
slip that
plug it
little
in.
joke
That's funny.
Yeah.
Really, you need to tell us that you wouldn't be playing Space Invaders. Yeah.
Mm.
This is so cheeky of him, but I love it. It's just like he's just
Yeah,
so
and you
desperate
can't
to get
tell
something.
who's on that gurney, like you're just like really trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Nope. No, thank you,
Oh
sir.
yeah, I didn't realize. Oh.
Here we go. Oh, it's not
Really
that
nice.
scene. That's right, because
No,
Carter
it's
passes
coming
by.
up right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I
Great
think
acting.
when you spoke to Saul David, he noted that Bregman pushes Carter, who's usually so controlled, completely over the edge, and it's one of Amanda's most powerful moments in the series.
Haven't seen her like that since like
Mm.
Cassandra when she was
Yep.
in the elevator.
It's like, okay, this is not working.
Yeah. So this is obviously the speech.
Yeah. I don't
So-
know how much Saul had to do with this, but I think it was a fair bit.
Yeah, that was my understanding too. So Saul told you that if they hadn't expanded this episode, this journalism speech might have hit the cutting room floor
Yeah.
along with, other important moments. And he called it a brave, creative decision that was right on the money.
Yeah.
And I think he even said that this speech has been quoted a number of times on social media, especially during discussions about fake news and media complicity. So
Mhm.
he was gratified that it still resonates with audience today.
It's also quite sad that it's still a problem today.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
know. And
Oh, so
for a
good.
bit of an alternate take from Reddit, one viewer saw this scene very differently. They argued that Bregman remains self-serving and manipulative throughout this
Whoa,
episode, and
no,
this praised speech about freedom of the press is
no.
just him justifying his intrusive behavior after cornering, Carter, who was quite upset.
It's a combination.
That's an interesting argument.
It's a combination. I see what they mean.
Yeah.
But I think
I've been picked. The president has picked me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not entirely selfish. There's a balance of like, I need to get this information because I've been chosen, but also, these people we deserve to know, and they deserve to be, talked about.
If that was his take, that would have been revealed in the editing when he was working with Dale. But that's not what it was.
Yeah.
He's concerned about, them not coming. He's not worried about him.
Yeah.
He's oh, here we go.
It's not O'Neill.
Also, Wickenhouse just he said something that was a bit confusing. So he said that the SG teams that were sent were SG-1, 5, and 7 plus Fraser's medical team, but there was no mention of number 5.
I still can't believe that this, what do they call him, a weasel of a man, ends up being the leader of Atlantis at some point.
Richard Woolsey, who was only introduced because an episode ran long. Robert Picardo mops the floor with this role. He did this in one day. He had no time, and a ton of dialogue that he's about to go through was all done. All of the scenes in his interview room were all done in one day. I don't necessarily know about this, but he just inhaled the script, and it all came out beautifully.
When I met him, I said to him, I was like, oh, I really disliked your character at first, and then I got older and I appreciated how fantastic you were, and I really liked you in Atlantis, and I was like,
well, we know later on that he's a real straight arrow. We think he may be one of Kinsey's goons, and he's not.
He sounds corrupt.
Correct.
Because, Sam gets that information about him, and it sounds like he was fired from a job because he was corrupt.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, well, of course he's working with Kinsey. He's corrupt. But, then you find out the truth.
Yeah, he's probably fired because he exposed something that someone didn't want exposed, and they canned him over there. I'll bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I believe that Robert had a date that he needed to attend in the UK, and this was the day before he flew out. So pretty crazy stuff. But I think that the story wouldn't have been complete without this extra narrative.
But a bit of seediness.
Yeah. Plus, you've also got like the kind of the parallel stories about two different men investigating the SGC from different angles with different agendas.
Yeah.
Inauguration really is kind of like a capstone to this in terms of Woolsey's arc, because we see his agenda fulfilled there. Like this is what he was after. He just wants the truth. He thinks that oversight is important, and he's not wrong. But it's a lot more complicated than just
it kind of reminds me of the
oversight.
Captain America versus Iron Man Civil War situation.
It is in many ways that argument.
Yeah. I'm Team Iron Man on that, to be honest. There's a balance to be had, but I was leaning more towards Iron Man in that case. So in this case, I'd be more Team Woolsey, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd be close to Janet. She saved all your lives at some point. Janet means a lot.
But it sounds like he could be talking about Jack.
Yeah.
Don and Amanda are amazing there.
Yeah, they are.
I think Don's next to, Chain Reaction, that even surpassing that, this may be his finest hour in this episode.
Also, I think I missed a little bit. So Carter mentioned Woolsey's bachelor's degree, didn't she?
Probably.
I think so. Yeah, when she was talking about paperwork.
Yeah, all right. So she mentioned he had an LLB from Harvard, which is actually impossible because an LLB, which is a Bachelor of Law, is an undergraduate degree, but Harvard only offers postgraduate law degrees.
Maybe.
So there, Robert Cooper.
I don't want to one up Robert Cooper. Oh my
Oh,
God.
that's funny.
Robert Picardo, I think, told you, David, that he was initially painted as a quote complete douchebag.
It's
But
true.
but Joe Malozzi and Paul Mully saw potential in him, and each return of his character would add like an extra small redeeming quality until he eventually became the Atlantis commander.
Here we go
Also, the
with those
filming.
sneaky edits. Yeah.
Yes, so this complete rotating shot actually required perfect timing. So each cast member had to slip in and out of the chairs while Robert maintained eye contact with an empty seat. So one blunder would have literally ruined the entire take. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Rude. Just make human decisions the best you can do.
Mm,
But you know what? I get it.
God, he's good in this.
he really is. I remember thinking that he was just like another Kinsey.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. He just comes in so slimy. You're just like, he's one of those. It's my favorite thing about Stargate is that because it's so long, you're able to bring in these characters that are absolute arse-hats and you hate them. And then years down the line, they're actually really great and they have so much depth and so many layers
Yeah,
that
there's
it's really
time for
fun
growth.
peeling them all
Yeah.
back. Exactly.
Yeah. And I
I need to
think
rush
I
it.
think he has one of the best character arcs in
Yeah.
terms of
He becomes the
growth
leader of
and
Atlantis. That's
Yeah.
development.
crazy.
Him.
Yeah.
Well, Mayborn becomes king, but him, Tom Macbeth. There are 2 or 3 where it's like that is a great
And
character
McKay.
arc. Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah,
you compare the kingdom to like the size of Atlantis, I think Wolsey has Harry beat, technically. So,
Don't
But he
forget the
doesn't have as
wives.
many wives.
yeah, it's true. But Wolsey has a flying city. I mean,
He does.
let's go.
True.
Not eligible for court martial. Yeah.
Hmm.
He can imprison him. No one even knows it exists.
Well, they've already
Mm.
threatened to do that before, haven't they? At the start of the series.
He picks up the
Okay.
microphone. This is great.
That looks like a
Heard all
door
this
stop.
before. Bye.
I'm
It did.
out.
They're all just done, and also they've just lost their friend, so they're extra
Yeah.
done. They're just like can't be
Yeah.
asked for.
Well, they've been
this.
doing the documentary.
Yeah.
And then Janet dies. And this
Goodness.
inquiry begins. And it's like, you know what?
all too
Screw
much.
this. I'm out.
I'd call in sick. I'd go take a nap. I'd be like, I'll be back in like 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah, airmen would be on your front door saying, get in here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Take your temperature. Nope, you're fine. This is a great scene.
Yeah.
It really is.
So this is
honestly.
not a real story, but it is reminiscent of a
Correct.
couple of real events.
Yes, 100%.
There's blood on the camera.
It's
I
why it
forgot.
hits so hard.
So there's a continuity sort of error. I double checked it because I wasn't sure if it was real, but Wells is wearing an SG-18 patch when he's supposed to be SG-13. You can see it quickly, but then Daniel moves his hand and covers it up.
Wow.
Like it looks like
Nice.
he's obviously covering it up. I had to pause it, but I took a screenshot.
The other thing that I don't buy about this is she says, I'm Dr. Janet Fraser. She'd be like, it's Dr. Fraser, Simon. You know?
Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
maybe
she
they haven't
just
seen each
threw
other
in
very
the-
much.
Yeah, or she
She's
threw
the
in the first
lead.
name because it makes her more personable or something.
Yeah, maybe he's saying the whole thing so that he can call her Janet if he needs to. I don't know.
It's like everyone would have known who she was.
You're right.
Well, man, Daniel just introduced himself and everyone knows who he
This
is.
is
I feel
true,
like he was
but-
maybe a new employee. I feel like he was relatively new around here.
Okay, that's a
Newish,
fair
yeah.
point. Maybe he is really new.
He took on this new job because his wife is pregnant, needs extra money, wants that kid to go to a good school, nice new house. And then this
Well,
is
if he's
happening.
here, he's been in the Air Force, for a little while at this point. This
Yeah.
wouldn't have been his first commission.
No. But this is quite the upgrade, like you got to be earning a bit better
Yeah.
if you're going out here.
Oh, the way that they've stitched this episode together is so brilliant.
Mm.
He doesn't know. He's assuming.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he saw a pee-pee, but he didn't.
I wouldn't paint the room blue just yet.
Yeah.
So quiet because we all know it's coming.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Yeah.
quite know how to feel right now. Well, his kid would be like an
numb.
adult right now. That his kid can legally drink now.
Oh, for sure.
I think.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that is mental. Oh. Yeah, I'm not in the mood. No.
Yes, it's not what you think it is, though.
Robin Christensen, they screwed up. Like I said before, they should have, as soon as they saw that drone gone back through the gate, no one would have died. I mean, they could close the gate and bury it. No one would have died either. Like,
Yeah, it's that
the thing.
Pandora's box
It's really
argument.
easy to, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
This is fantastic.
I always thought it was a real story.
Same.
Things like this did happen, though. I'm
Yes.
trying to think of one, because I'd heard of something like this before this.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't think there's anything really wrong with capturing these kind of moments as long as it's done with like sincerity and you're not taking advantage, you know?
Well,
Like,
journalists, they're there to preserve history,
truth
which is
and
the
history,
truth.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that we remember these things and
We learn
hope
from them.
to learn from them.
Yeah.
Civil War, the recent movie that just came out, is
I loved it.
all about that.
I
And the
absolutely
journalists
loved it
are
because it was-
very
yeah.
importantly. It's very important that they're there to capture the events so that
100%.
people.
David,
Yeah.
I was just going to bring it up. I'm so glad you did. Yes, Civil War. If you guys haven't seen it, it's just it's fantastic.
Documentary teams, or photographers, journalists have been embedded in our military and militaries across the world for a very long time.
Yes. Yeah.
Great beat. Yeah. It's all about how you think about what happened. You can't change what happened, but how you perceive it and the lasting effects of it change everything. And Michael, this is great.
Yeah. If anything as well, Daniel being a historian, you know, and like he looks back through all these parts of history, and if it wasn't for people like Saul's character, then he wouldn't have all this fantastic history to look at. You know, somebody somewhere decided to write something down about what was going on, and boom, you have some information.
Yeah. I guess the way that my brain is like looking at this scene is, you know, I read that comment from Reddit before about how someone believed that he was like working an angle the whole time and he was completely insincere and just, you know, doing what he needed to do to get the footage that he wanted. And then you think, did he know that? Did he make up the story about Martin Kristofsky just to make sure that he was able to
I
obtain
don't
that
think he would.
footage
No,
from?
no,
I know he
no.
didn't, but like you can see how people could
Yeah.
like manipulate that, you know,
Yeah.
that narrative.
Yeah.
For sure. One of the notepads that Robert Picardo was using, I think it was in season 5 when he meets with Todd for an alliance.
Like he's got like
Oh,
a
it's
work
so sweet.
notepad.
So
I love
he had
that.
actually written out like notes about the meeting the Wraith, and it was like really funny to sit there and read it. We sold it at PropWorks, but he spent a lot of time writing pen to paper in notebooks.
Oh, Robert did.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
on
so
the screen.
cool.
Yep. This is a huge point.
It is.
He's not wrong on this.
And I think Saul mentioned in your interview that Don S got very emotional during filming because he was actually a captain in the military and he served. So this episode really hit home for him, and I think you can see that in his performance.
I've been trying to determine just how many people were sent to rescue Simon to determine the $27 million figure.
But every time they open up the gate, how much is that as well? Isn't it
anything can
that
happen.
spenny?
Yeah, well, from
Yeah.
a
There was
power perspective,
4
yeah.
I think there was 3 or 4 teams that they sent and
Yeah.
a medical team. So it's a lot of folk.
Probably 1.4 or somewhere around million to train each of the personnel. And not just a training, but their supplies and everything else. I wouldn't be surprised, and it makes sense.
Lockwatch said, "Oh my god, middle of emotional episode, get a text from my wife saying, is pizza okay for dinner?" Lol. It's like, yeah, stop interrupting me. I'm busy.
Pizza's fine, whatever. Just
Yeah,
get
pizza's
home.
fine.
Yeah.
Chop, chop.
Pizza and
Not
ice cream
everyone
and
could have
cake.
pulled off that line, cold dark
No.
place for the rest of time, but he does.
No.
He does, yeah.
I love Don almost looks like he's like getting a bit emotional a
Yep.
little bit. Like,
He
at the end
does.
there.
He
It's
really
great.
does. Even this interaction, he just.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
he's
this
so
is like
heated.
this is just elevated. It's
Yeah.
like toss him out on his ass.
He's got a real fire up his ass right now. He's like ready. He's like, oh, to take everyone. I'm done.
Here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Snap 2.
it's good.
I'm gonna have to reach out to Mitchell again. I want to get him on.
That would be cool. I really hope that he still has that glorious mustache.
Oh, here we go. Keep packing. I'm a colonel. Oh boy.
Here we go. Come on.
Borrow your wet one. I had a teacher say that to me once. You have some nerve. Yeah.
Good. That means you got the right kind
wow.
of sass.
I was out of line.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I ignored
I've
instructions.
never, ever had anybody say you've got some nerve. I've just had people tell me
Yeah.
shut up. So
Yeah.
No, I
There's a
think
shot
I was
from,
the,
Window
I
of
was the
Opportunity.
opposite. It is,
Yeah.
yes. It's the tablets from Window.
Yeah. So it's just been reversed. So suddenly, I guess the president called and said that it's not. Or did no? So what happens here? Does Hammond change his mind and let him stay
I think Hammond changes his mind.
from this meeting to leverage against what Woolsey is doing?
you just called him a little weasel.
Well, I think he's just thinking about Woolsey, he's thinking about Kinsey, and he's just thinking
Yeah.
that it's probably best that there is a record kept of what goes on.
Yeah,
you
especially
can't let
right
his
now.
anger win.
There it is.
Mm,
DV tape. Oh, Daniel's done. Yeah.
Well, he's not going to
uh,
include this. This is the thing. It's so bad. It's such a horrible image that he doesn't even include it in the documentary later.
Are you
But,
sure
I mean,
about that? Daniel says he wants him to.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't
he's
The way
know.
took
that
it
he
out.
throws it with he's so excited to watch whatever's on this tape. It's just
Yeah. I hope he doesn't use it because it does feel a bit gratuitous to use it in a documentary like that. But I don't know. I don't know how I'd want this to be immortalized. You know, I don't want this to ever
yeah.
disappear, this tape. But
So, David, when you spoke to Terrell on DTG, she remembered with perfect clarity the moment she found out that Janet would die. She said that she was in her kitchen when Robert Cooper called her in January, and when he asked her how she'd feel about Janet being killed off, she simply said,
How do you
"Not
think I
very
would
good."
feel? Yeah.
But after hearing the storyline, she actually thought it was quite beautiful. And even though the death would be like a sucker punch for fans, she was grateful for 7 years. And I think Peter DeLuise was the one who suggested killing a character fans actually cared about. And he specifically said, don't bring them back like Daniel, make it real and make it count.
Michael's
Yeah.
holding
And I believe-
Terrell's hand throughout this scene.
Amazing.
Oh, is he? So Terrell, I think, said that they filmed it out of sequence,
Yeah,
which
she
actually
died
helped
and then
her
she
cope.
came back the next day. Yeah, but to this day,
Exactly.
she's never watched the show.
Oh, I didn't realize she hadn't watched it, but you could tell in her interview with you that it's still kind of cut quite deep.
Yeah.
And someone on Reddit nailed why Janet's death sort of hit so hard. The way they hint at Jack being killed makes you think they're not going to kill the main character, so this must be a fake out.
Yeah.
And then that assumption creates false security. and then the actual reveal is just absolutely devastating.
It's a blow. It's just from the other direction.
You know,
Yeah.
what I really like, I know I'm talking that took over a Sam Jack moment, but very quickly, I really like the fact that Saul's seen that clip though, because I feel like he can now go and interview the guy that she saved, and he can talk about how wonderful Janet was, and include part of her interview and being like, sadly, we lost her later that day, and then cut to the people that she saved and what she did.
Yep.
I feel like him seeing that clip will help him make her impact even greater in the documentary.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
I assume that the new vest insert that saved Jack,
The polymers,
wasn't worn by Janet when she was hit.
Well, it didn't help her much. It suggests that she was wearing it, but it was not. Yes, it was at a different spot. Yep.
Maybe. So I think what makes Janet's death so heartbreaking is what it means for Cassie. Like, she's literally an orphan again. And the show doesn't explore this, but like there are fan fiction writers who have grappled with the aftermath, and I've read several beautiful stories where Cassie's life like completely falls apart after losing Janet, and then she eventually finds her way and becomes a medic to honor her adoptive mother's memory.
That's great.
Also, Jack's eyes like kept drifting to Sam's lips when they were communicating, and I think you can see him really wrestling with the urge to cross that line that they've drawn. And when they do embrace, it's definitely not for professional comfort. Like the way he nestles his head into her neck, I think is deeply personal.
I love it. Yep.
And it's intimate in the way that speaks to everything that they can't say out loud.
I love Sam and Jack forever. We've got a couple of new people, I think, or returning people in the chat. So I want to say thank you, Invisible Dimensions, for saying, I love the way you all pass these out. Top notch. Thank you. Yeah, got lots of information. And Evie's great with the research. So
yes,
really
welcome
it.
everyone. We had 28 a minute ago. So
we had 31 at one point. I watched it. And the Perry S says, I wonder if they had a memorial for every M and KIA. I'd like to think that, but
there's something for sure. Yeah.
I think they would.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this scene yesterday, and I think Daniel's reassurance to Wells here is incredibly meaningful. Like he's
convinced that he's responsible for her death.
His fault. But I think having that come from Daniel, who spent years blaming himself for what happened to Share with Amunet, carries enormous weight.
Yep.
And I think that he's speaking from hard-won wisdom about guilt and forgiveness.
100%.
So I think it was the best person for this to come from.
It never occurred to me. Very, very good.
Honestly, Yvie, I've never actually thought about that before, so fantastic. Thank you. Yep. Stargate's better with friends. Always.
Who overanalyzed the episode.
Hey, look, we need one of us to do that. Otherwise, it's all just going to be very samey, isn't it? So.
And this, oh my God, this scene with Tilk.
Oh, my boo. Love him so much.
Oh. And I think the gesture from Tilk, like writing the eulogy,
he's
but
such a
giving
cutie.
it to Sam to deliver, like I think it perfectly captures their friendship and his wisdom about what Janet deserved.
He's a man of few words, but he's a man of many thoughts.
Exactly. Like he may seem stoic on the surface, but when it comes to his chosen family, I think he shows this remarkable emotional awareness. And I think these moments where he drops his warrior facade and reveals his tender heart are what makes him such a rich character.
Well,
I love this moment.
I love that she's got to go pick up Cassie as well. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's face it, Chris doesn't get a great deal of spotlight.
No, he doesn't.
But he's kind of their secret weapon. Like when they use him, they use him well.
Oh, when they use him, I get so sad. He drives the knife's already in. He just twists it in that extra bit, and I'm like, you guys use Teal'c against me. Yeah. It's great. I wonder what he wrote. I wonder how much.
It's a list.
It's just the list of names.
It's the list of names.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I think Sam, she writes the first bit, like the little introduction, and then it's just the list of names.
I love this scene. Oh man, I got the goosebumps.
Well, I was thinking about it again yesterday and overanalyzing. So I think Daniel choosing to sit alone in this darkened infirmary is so symbolically rich.
Where he died.
Like he's seeking a place of healing to help him heal himself. But the infirmary isn't just where people suffer and die. It's also where they recover and find hope again. So I think it's deeply connected to Janet's memory. Like away from these like bustling corridors, he's found this one space that embodies both loss and healing.
Also, I just love the way that he chose the one room that she tried to save him in, and he makes the point.
Yeah, and
doesn't
that
he?
one
Yeah.
light over the bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where he
We didn't
ascended
know
as
how
the
long
Tinker's
it
man.
lasted, and he gives the time frame here in this 3 days without sleep. He
Yeah.
he deteriorated for 3 days.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Mm.
Hmm.
I always kind of hoped that he'd get together with Janet.
A
There
lot
is
more than I
there's a
ever gave
thread
that.
that they deliberately the two actors put through the
I
show
know,
between
and I
Michael
love
and
that.
Terrell. Yeah.
I've read many a fan fiction where they're a couple.
See, I think he used it,
Mm.
but I think he
I-
found a way, and I think
That's the thing. I feel
Evie's
like
right
he-
with using footage with
he's-
Simon and explaining what
Yeah.
happened, telling
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
and using his an interview with him to frame the mission and what happened as like this is a case study of what it is that they do.
100%. The Perry Esther said, finished my annual rewatch of SG-1 and SGA last week. Lol, didn't think I'd be watching it again. Welcome back to Stargate. There's never too much Stargate in your life.
You can never rewatch too soon.
So this is Taps. It's played
It is.
at memorials like this one, and it's played at midnight.
Is that like,
On
is it
every
a
base.
US memorial song kind of thing?
So we
I
play.
think we play it as well.
Do we
Yeah, I
play
wouldn't
it?
be
That's why I'm
surprised.
asking, because I don't know. So.
But yeah, it's played on bases at midnight. So
Mm.
the end of the day, which I always thought it was sundown, but my dad corrected me.
Oh.
Thanks, Dad.
I really wish they had brought in Colleen for this scene.
I know.
And we talked about it briefly when I
I
had her
don't
on
even think
Gate
she
World
got a
years ago.
call.
She did not.
Yeah.
But she was like, you know what, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
That would have made the episode even more
Oh, pull on your
heart-wrenching.
heartstrings, like bringing in, like bringing in
It wouldn't have-
a pet, or
Yeah.
an animal at the end of
I
a
don't think
certain
it-
episode at the end when a certain character
wouldn't-
dies.
Yeah, it wouldn't have just pulled on your heartstrings. It would have cut them right off.
Yeah.
So the Perry S didn't include SGU. So Raj with around, what about SGU? It's funny.
I know this. Yeah, well, there's
Go
a lot
watch
of
it.
people. Yeah, I agree. So this preview was placed on Sci-Fi Channel, and for folks who were had seen the preview, they see Jack standing there. So he's clearly not the one who's dead.
Yeah, that's silly that they
Yes.
included that. Like, for people who didn't already know.
The promotional photography for this episode was released before the episode came out, and it included both sides of the end of the ramp. So
Anthony
well.
said, yes, the UK do use it as well. It's called The Last Post, I think.
Yes, I think we call it the last post also.
Cool.
Okay, so we did mention this in the first part, but the narration for the documentary is by Jim Burns, and it's kind of fitting because he himself was actually a Vietnam veteran,
yep,
and he did 26 episode of Stargate Infinity.
as
And
Gus Bonner.
he actually later reunited with Amanda Tapping on Sanctuary, and he played her character's father, Gregory
Wow.
Magnus, which is cool. And I saw someone on Reddit say that this speech kind of reminds them of the Gettysburg Address.
Yeah.
There's a piece of that. 2 hours,
shot.
42 minutes.
Mm,
It's probably 1:42 because a lot of them start at the 1 hour mark.
I love how he's like his opinion of Bregman has just
Evolved.
completely spun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were wrong about their assumptions.
They didn't know him.
No, that's completely fair.
They didn't know what his agenda
Don't judge a
was.
book by its cover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Don't judge
Boy, do I
journalists by
have to
their
remind
job.
myself of that all the time.
Yeah. So I think
Shakes his
Hammond's
hand.
admission that he was wrong sort of shows his fundamental honor and integrity as a leader.
Damn right.
Like it takes real character to publicly, or not publicly, but privately acknowledge even that you've misjudged someone. And I think
And tell
Hammond does
them,
it
yeah.
without hesitation. Like that's
Yeah.
the mark of a true leader, like knowing when to admit that you're wrong.
Logwatch said this is like when Spock died in Star Trek.
Well, very similar, yeah. Except no resurrection with the Genesis device. So there was a cut scene here that took place at Jack's house, where he gets a package, and the package is the video, and on the top of it it says "Watch this,"
and that's why he decides to do it. I love that. Okay.
Oh,
this is so sweet. This makes me melt.
Yeah.
This is a great GIF too.
I see that GIF.
Yeah,
See it
very
Yeah.
cute.
The Perrier
It's
said, I always
such a,
wondered why Jonas Quinn didn't come back for the memorial. Yeah, I would have liked that.
Oh,
It's such a what, Edie?
it's such a bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Well, the
think
point
in
is
an
that the baby
alternative,
lives and Janet gets to help this family be together, so.
yeah. So I think in the alternate reality from Ripple Effect, we learn that in the other timeline, Daniel managed to pull Janet away from the staff blast and she survived.
I would hate to be Daniel listening to that in our timeline.
I
Just be
know,
like,
I
"Huh,
know.
couldn't have just
Oh,
given
you'd
that
feel
one
so
little pull."
guilty. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So just a couple of little facts. So SG-3, who secured the gate and radioed Jack during the battle, they somehow never get mentioned in the aftermath, despite being part of the whole operation. And I was going to say that they did have to trim a bunch of scenes in editing, including Hammond and Bregman's first meeting. And there was apparently a comedic scene where Bregman lobbies the president for Daniel's footage, but they decided to cut that last bit because the comedy would break the tension leading into part 2.
Yeah.
And I think that Saul Rubinek said that the experience was wonderful, and he didn't realize how beloved this episode was until about 6 years later when he was at a Comic-Con for Warehouse 13.
Yeah.
And fans actually approached him with pictures of Bregman and said like how much of a fan favorite this episode was, and he was, completely blown away. And I think he said that what really made it work was actually having Robert C. Cooper, the showrunner, actually on set instead of 3,000 miles away, giving, like feedback on the spot. And I believe that this episode got 4 Leo Award nominations and was up for a Hugo Award.
That was Heroes Part 2, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Yvie wrapped it up on time. So great job with your time. I heard you speed up at the end of it. You were like, and I was like, yeah, you got it.
I was like, I have to kick this into gear.
Yeah.
You did great. Great pacing. Also, the Perry S said, regarding SGU, let's not open that can of worms. I just want to say that we are, what Yvie was like less on Universe and has grown an appreciation for it. So we are a Stargate Universe conversion group here. So if you watch Universe with us, Stargate with friends. Exactly. Stargate with friends is always better.
There we go.
So come back for Universe and you'll see.
Thank you all for joining us in this episode. This was a big one. I have not been looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it being over.
So have I, to be quite honest. I put off doing my notes for quite a few days because I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah. We did it, guys. We did it.
Fact of the matter is, this is clearly a 7.
Yep.
Is it a 7 for you guys?
Yep.
Yes,
7.
it is.
It's not,
Yep.
It's pretty
It's
obvious.
one of the easiest, breeziest,
Yeah.
there's not much else to say because
No.
you know what? I quite like the bad episodes in a way because sometimes they're hard to watch. There's not a lot to say, but like we can tear them apart pretty nicely afterwards. But when it's a really good episode, it's like we've already talked about how amazing this episode is. I don't know how else we can butter this episode up. It's amazing.
This just, it
it's
doesn't
perfect.
exactly make you want to sit down and line up some bullets of what you thought about it. You just kind of want to sit with the episode and just meditate on it afterwards.
With the block of chocolate.
Just the okay, I guess some fudge and a tall glass of whole milk. My mother makes excellent
Something
fudge.
comforting.
Just the little nods between Tom and Emmett. He finally calls him Emmett by his first name. He's been calling Tom Rednell Tom. And getting Jack to finally sit down. We didn't touch on that, but it's a perfect capstone to this episode. And you'd have to wonder what Jack would have said.
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
really was forced into a corner to sit down and okay, let's talk about what this program means.
Yeah, I
Under
guess he kind of almost
orders.
sounded a little bit defeated, didn't he? But
Well, I think it's just
I don't think
sad.
it was
I think it's
defeated.
sad.
Yeah,
I'd like to think he went in with just like he's just sad, but he
thought he
went
was
in more
defeated?
serious because he was taking it. To me, I think the
taking
first
it
time I ever saw it, I
seriously.
thought that.
He's really
But I-
subdued. Like, okay, that's
Exactly.
how I
That's what I
always
think.
interpreted it.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, like defeated, that would be like from a humorous direction. You know,
He
and
spent
Jack's
the
really the only one,
whole-
largely other than Dixon in the first half, who has anything humorous in this two-part at
Exactly.
all.
He
Yeah,
spends the whole
yeah.
time like roasting him and not caring about what's going on with this whole documentary.
Or Kenzie.
So so for him to sit there and actually take it seriously, that's like Jack, like zone, like he's in the zone. He's actually paying attention, you know. So that's what I think.
Yeah, just one word. That's
yeah,
all you
fair.
need.
Yeah. So before we get onto this, so we all give it sevens. Kevin Weaver said that he gave part 1 a 5, and he added Anthony
Okay.
for later. So thank you for
Aw.
making sure Anthony has the list. So if I scroll up, here we go. So
You've said that already.
Anthony, hold on, I struggled to find it. This is a 7 for me. The atmosphere wasn't as intense as normal due to the commentary, but I still loved it. Smiling emoji. Lockwatcher, this is a 7. Janet May, you rest in peace. Always appreciated the time we spent with you and your little flashlight. Oh no, the flashlight joke's gonna be
I know,
gone.
I actually thought about that when I was getting ready.
Oh no. We hope to see you again someday, maybe when a ripple effect in time happens. That's sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like we're
Ripple
having a weird
effect
like
in time.
memorial. This is very sweet and
It's
sad.
somber.
Yeah.
It is, because she's not coming back.
No, I'm not looking
Oh.
forward to Carmen's last episode either. I'm gonna break there.
Oh, yes, that too.
Jack's
That too.
Cabin gives this episode a 7. Jean Diarra, all the 7s. Gecko Fett, 7 out of 7. Great acting, always hits me in the feels. Robin Christensen, it's a 7 for both episodes. Kevin Weaver, 7. Dan Ben, 7. Stewart, 7th chevron locked. Candy Mitch, 7, but borrowing chevrons from faraway galaxies at a 9, which I love. That's great.
Oh,
Jacob a 7, and Sharon Victoria with a 6. The scene of Daniel in the infirmary mimicking Janet when he ascended is beautiful, but the fact that Janet is mentioned like 3 times after this always makes me kind of angry.
Interesting.
oh,
I feel that.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Anthony
that's
said, I thought.
okay.
No, sorry. That's. Okay.
I'm just curious what would have made it a 7.
Oh yeah, please, Shimmering Victoria, if you want to share what would make it a 7, please do. Anthony, I thought we were headed for the first all 7s episodes since the beginning. Shimmering Victoria, you ruined it. You ruined it.
Oh
with one
no,
6.
Shimmering Victoria is
It's all
I
good.
just
Everyone's
have
entitled
a
to their
opinion.
opinion.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a joke.
No,
It's
you're
wrong
not, Jen.
opinion.
No, you're not. You mean it.
No, I don't. It's just funny, you know. Anthony's making a great joke. Raj Luthor, my rating for Heroes has gone away because he's rewritten it. Hold on, and there it is. Rating for Heroes is part 2 is 7 out of 7. Overall, 7 out of 7. Wish Jonas was there. It would be great if David could interview Adam Baldwin and Saul Rubinek.
I've interviewed Saul.
Yeah, I'd love to see.
yeah, he did.
Saul come
He did
back.
Saul like you did Saul at the beginning of Dial the Gate. I
Very
think,
early
quite
on.
early
Yeah,
on.
he was one of my
Bring him
first.
back.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I'd get him because his personality is so interesting, but I shouldn't have.
I'm
I
so
shouldn't have
glad that
guessed.
I'm so glad that he
Yeah.
agreed. It was
I've
such a
tried
good
Adam
interview.
Baldwin 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to throw
that's
some
okay.
substantial coin his way in order to get him to.
Potentially.
Him and Christopher
Okay.
Judge are close. They're
Oh,
golfing
I
buddies.
didn't- I wouldn't have seen that. Okay.
To be fair,
Well,
I
you-
could maybe see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if we've got a second,
Yeah.
I didn't write this myself, but I have an ode to Janet. It's a poem. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. It's not too long.
We deserve it.
So, she healed the sick with gentle hands, made colonels follow her commands. From Hanker's ashes, love she found, Cassie's laughter, joy profound. Her allergies once saved the day when Neanderthals came out to play. With gun in hand for Cassie's life, she faced any storm or strife. Through 7 years of duty's call, she mended hearts and healed them all. On distant worlds, she'd make her rounds, where alien plagues and pains abounds. Her final act, a life preserved, the highest honor she deserved. Simon Wells lived to see his daughter, named for she who faced the slaughter. Dr. Janet Frazier's name we raise, a healer's heart through all her days.
Who wrote that?
The AI.
Of course it did.
And
That was very
Evie.
good. I
Well
would.
done,
I
a
wouldn't have
team
gone with
effort.
Slaughter. It's rather intense.
I'm
But,
worried about what the AI is planning
Yeah,
to do to us.
Well,
she
it
was
rhymes
shot
with
down.
daughter.
She was not converted into hamburger.
Yeah, slaughter and daughter. Sadly, they rhyme, unfortunately. I wish they
do.
didn't.
Uh,
Logwater just said, this is not the last 7 for the season. No, we have some decent episodes and some bangers coming up. So it's fun. And Raj said, bring Saul back for another interview, please. So yeah.
Oh, so I want Saul back on with Michael.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I've
they had
emailed
great
Michael
chemistry.
and I've asked him what it would take, and I'm not got a response. Michael sometimes takes a little bit in getting
Okay.
back to me. I'm hopeful.
He's a busy dude.
He is very busy. He's been doing a lot of cons, so for sure.
Yeah.
Gang,
but,
that's what we've got. Am I missing anything?
Yeah. No, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been here. You know, we're at 30 people right now, which is mental.
Oh,
I appreciate
wow.
Totally
That's
metal.
quite-
totally mental. Bit of a
Totally
mentee
metal.
bee. So I just want to say thank you to everybody, old and new. Appreciate you. So many people have been here since like day 1, which is mad. So thanks,
Yes.
guys. We're
Totes.
close to finishing.
Special thanks.
Totes cool.
Yeah.
David, oh my god.
Totes.
You're bringing out the Gen Z. So
You can
yeah.
see he hates himself a little
I know,
bit for it
I know.
too.
Not true.
I hate David for it too.
So we've
Let's
got
appreciate
Resurrection and Inauguration that's happening this coming Sunday, June the 8th. Lost
Yep,
City, June the 15th, as a
Another
a
double
single
header?
episode. So be sure you go and find
The
full
DVD
episode.
one, which is all
yes,
of it at once.
that's
yeah.
correct. And then our midweek
If you watch it on
movie,
like
June the
Netflix or anything, it's broken up. So don't do
18th
that.
is Galaxy Quest. So yes, exactly what Nicole was saying. Make sure and watch it beforehand. Just press play and see how long it is, and make sure that it's the correct length. Which is, I don't have it right now because my copies I've split up for my database because my database pulls the individual episodes. So I've got to put them together and send it to you ladies. So I'm going to do that.
So
Okay,
hilariously, by the
alright.
way, my friend is actually over during the week of our midweek movie. So I've already instructed her that she is going to be in my living room watching Galaxy Quest on stream with us. So
Oh,
I'm like,
simulcast.
Seems fair.
Okay.
That seems
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
Like some
I'm
free
gonna-
accommodation.
I'll be like,
You've gotta
get
just
on my
watch that.
sofa, watch it.
It's
And
it's
then
100
have
minutes of
fun.
fun. You know, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So
No arguments from me. It's an amazing movie.
I'm glad that that we got through this together.
Well, we pulled off the Band-Aid.
We sure did, and you did
Yeah.
twice with all of your facts. So thank you for that. It's not an
My
easy
pleasure.
thing
It
that
was
you do.
fun.
I know, but still, thank you for doing it. So, all right, gang. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
everyone.
I think this is the first time we've wrapped before 5 o'clock on a show before. We're only at an hour and 47 minutes, man.
Oh,
I was not
wow.
stopping. I was like, this train is getting refueled, and then we are getting
Yeah.
out of that first station.
taking a
So-
second, just 1 second and
Oh,
going,
Absolutely. Just yeeted through it.
which is great.
Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.